You know what the craziest thing about all of this is? The craziest thing is I started to squat every day and not deadlift every day. Sitting back here thinking about all of these days that I've kind of accumulated in a row of training on this basis of squatting every day. And, you know, thinking back, looking back at that first day of the squat every day and how, you know, spur of the moment type of thing it was never a planned thing to freaking squat 1,000 days at all. You know, I often say, man, I made it to like damn near 400 days in a row before, you know, the real, you know, attention started happening. So I was content just doing what I was doing without even a whole lot of eyes on me at all. But the true basis of all of this was squatting is freaking hard, man. It doesn't come naturally to me. Deadlifting, though, just seems comfortable to me. I don't understand. Like I was talking to somebody at the gym today, and I was like, I don't know what it is, man, but like my whole organism wants to lean over and just pick stuff up. Like I'm not very good at keeping upright. For whatever reason, my body wants to be in that bent over position where I can use the hamstrings, glutes, and the lower back and the spine, and that's kind of where my strength is. Obviously, when I sit here and I think about it a bit more deeply, it's obvious my femurs are long, my torso is shorter, and so just biomechanically, I am much more efficient picking stuff up off the floor than I am built to squat. But the craziest thing about all of this is that we often fall in love with things that are hard. You know, things that fall easy to us, things that come easy to us, we just kind of, we don't pay that much attention to it. But the thing that continues to stump us, continues to make us fall, intrigues us, and we want to study it and learn it, and so it goes on from there. You know, I remember the first time I tried to squat, I was like, why am I leaning over so much, man? You know, the personal trainer's like, you stay upright. I'm like, I can't. I just have to bend over, man. Like, it's crazy. And over the years, man, and so many years have gone by, like I've learned so much about all sorts of different things, hip internal, external rotation, and mobility of the posterior chain, and all this stuff about adductors and all this stuff. But still, like after all of these years, I'm still not visually there where I thought I could be, you know, perfectly upright like Lou. And obviously now with the knowledge that I have and the experience and the amount of hours I've spent, you know, looking this stuff up, reading this stuff, looking at other people move, I don't know if I'll ever be able to squat like Lou. It's clear I won't be. But it's interesting how my love for squatting is so much higher than deadlifting. You know, today I basically dedicated the whole day with the focus of pulling. Started off with snatching. Mobility wasn't there today to like actually, I was hoping I could catch it a little bit lower, but I couldn't. So it was basically just a power snatch, complete power snatch. Whereas yesterday was kind of like, still kind of power snatch, but it wasn't so high. And after that, I went into my deficit deadlifts, and I ended up thinking of doing 3x3 at 200. I ended up doing 5x3 at 200. And, you know, it's heavy work, man. It's like back-breaking kind of work, you know, of, you know, using the deficit. But still, like, I'm going through that, but it feels good, man. You know, some days when I'm squatting, I just feel like I'm fighting myself, man. Like, my body wants to lean. I've got the thing on the high bar position. The bar is not over my midfoot. It's kind of like the balls of my feet, maybe even my toes. And I'm like fighting myself through this motion. Really, that bar should be a low bar, but I really want to squat high bar, but my body's not built for high bar. And it's kind of like this complete dialogue, this complete in-house fight going on within me. But it's just funny. Like I sit here and I'm like, if squatting came easy to me and something else came hard to me, I probably would have done something else, and squat every day would have never happened. It's just the way it is, man. I don't know whether you guys can relate to something like that, but you know, maybe it's my personality, like things that are hard, that kind of attract me. So why am I struggling with this, man? Why is this stumping me? Why is this so damn difficult? And it's so interesting to me. Like now, you know, a whole bunch of people, you know me as the squat everyday guy. And I'm not built for squat every day. Like there's a whole bunch of people that I've seen who are now also squatting every day, and Guys are like on day 100, day 50, and I look at them and I'm like, man, that is a beautiful looking squat. And then I look closely and I'm like, man, they are built for squatting. They got this short ass femur and it's up and down. It's like an elevator type thing. It's a beautiful thing. You know, then I look at my squat after 900 days and some, like I've been lifting for 7-8 years, but this streak is 900 odd days. I see myself and I'm like, you know, just a complete honest opinion of myself and how I look to squat. I don't like it. Isn't that crazy, man? It's like the sole focus of my whole training program, and I don't like it. I don't like looking at myself squat. I don't know if I've ever said this to you guys, but I don't like the way I squat, because the way I squat is not how I imagine I will be squatting. It's not how my role models, how my heroes, have all these words, you know, that we use for these people. That's not how they squat. Lou doesn't squat like that. Lou doesn't have any freaking torso lean. I'm at 45. 40 freaking 5. Shit, make it 60, man. Just freaking lean over completely and look like a table. You know? And this is why, like, when I finally go over to the deadlift, I'm like, oh, thank God, man. I can lean over here and just do what I do, man. That's literally one of the thoughts that comes through my head. It's like, oh, thank God I don't have to fight to stay forward, stay upright. That's a thought that comes to my head. It's like, this exercise, we need to lean over and pick stuff up from there. It's like this whole idea, this whole push for so many years was about, how do I get upright in my squat? And of course, I can just get my wife's damn shoes, stilettos, 50 freaking 5-inch elevated heel and squat that way. Yeah, it's perfectly upright. To me, it's not. That's not it, man. That is not it. I don't like that. I've worn Olympic weightlifting shoes, and I can tell you that. I can bring up a video here where I did a comparison. There was a video that I did some freaking 500, 600 days ago where I compared side view, where I compared myself doing a squat in all these shoes versus flat shoes. And the angle was pretty much similar, man. This is the craziest thing. You would expect me to be much more upright. It wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. For whatever reason, it wasn't the case. I don't know. I've also seen Lou. I mean, I keep bringing up Lou, man. Lou is not someone I should be comparing myself to at all. The dude is an alien compared to me. Like, he's an alien. He's like completely different body build. But I'm just kind of saying where my thoughts are when it comes to all of this. You know, I saw Lou once without Olympic weightlifting shoes. I think he had, like, I don't know what he had, like some sandals or something. He was squatting down and basically was fully upright anyway. You know, so he has the mobility with or without the damn shoes. I think he wears those shoes. I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't really know anything about him. But people in Olympic weightlifting shoes, yes, of course, the heel helps, but it's this the other aspects of the shoe. It's the fact that it's rigid, right? So complete support. You know, you can jump on it and slap the ground. You know, if I jumped and stomped the ground with my shoes, I'll probably freaking end up with sore feet, right? Anyway, it just on days like this, when I have a focus of just pulling, I feel like I'm home, man. Really, this whole thing, like, really, I should be known as the deadlift everyday guy. It's just funny. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, squat and deadlift are very, very high up on my list. And then it's like a long way down to the number 3 on the list. That's how much I prioritize those two lifts. But the squat is king for me. In terms of my drive to succeed, that's kind of the whole premise of everything that I'm doing. But deadlifting comes naturally, unfortunately. I don't know whether you guys can relate to something else in your life where something that you don't care so much about just comes easily. The craziest thing is when I did the RDLs, when I did the good mornings, when I'm doing these deficits, I get stronger. Of course, it makes sense. I get strong in the posterior chain, and that strength then carries over to the squat. So really, what I should be doing, if I think about it, all I should be doing is spending 90% of my freaking resources of recovery points that I have naturally with sleeping and eating and all the rest of that, spend 90% of that stuff on pulling and different variations, you name it, good mornings, RDLs, deficits, whatever it is. Spend all of my points there and just practice singles with squatting. That's kind of how it's come to me. Like some of you guys have listened to a lot of these videos, and I probably sound like a broken record. Pull, 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 pull. I don't know whether that is specific to a squat everyday type of program where you need this much pulling to kind of equal to have some sort of equality in this equation, because you are doing something extreme on one end, you got to have something extreme on the other end as well to have some sort of normality, some sort of balance. But it's pulling. If I summarize everything that I've ever done, it's high rep squats and pulling. As simple as that sounds, that's what's worked for me before. High rep squats and a whole lot of pulling. You name whatever the hell it is. Simple as that. I saw a guy today at the gym, never seen him before. He was in this hack squat machine. I looked at him and I thought, Jesus Christ. His quad development was like insane. Like, to the rest of how he looked, he didn't look all that big anywhere else, but his quads were popping. And, I couldn't see him squat, but I kind of noticed that he had short legs. Short legs, long torso. He was an Asian fella. And I thought, this guy's built to squat, man. Built to squat. He's just like, if I had that type of build and I did 900 odd days in squatting, I reckon I'd be a lot further ahead. I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking about it all. So maybe I should have a bit of a shift in focus, put more, like I said, put more attention into deadlifting and deadlift variations and go from there. I'll tell you something else. I don't know whether I've ever said this before. I heard Clarence Kennedy in one of those videos with Omar Yusuf talk about how you should, do the snatch. Learn the snatch before doing the clean and jerk. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, thank God. It kind of reinforced my fear of doing clean and jerk. The reason why clean and jerk is not so appealing to me as snatch is because the clean and jerk has a squat component to it. That's my honesty to you. I don't feel very good vertical. Okay, I'm not very good vertically, right? Like I said, I like to lean over. And so clean and jerk, it's like a pull. You flick it over and then you front rack that thing, right? Catch it and do a front squat. And then when you're at the top, you have to kind of do like a quarter squat and push press that thing up, or whatever it's called, jerk it. And that's also a very upright thing. I can't develop force in that position, in a jerk or in that deep catch front squat position. I'm not very good at that. But snatch, you start off, you can get away with leaning over. It's more like a posterior chain type of exercise, right? You go from one swoop from the bottom to the top, and you can lean over a little bit. It's not so unforgiving. The bar overhead in a snatch position is a lot more forgiving than having it on a collarbone. Any sort of lean will dump it forward. See how like my psyche gravitates to the things that I'm good at. I'm a long-femored, long-legged Olympic weightlifter. I'm going to be better at snatching than I'm going to be clean and jerking. This is how I think about it. I could be completely wrong about all of this, but I felt a more gravitational pull towards snatching than I do to clean and jerking. Because of that fear, I can't jerk anything because the jerking is all about being upright. I'm not very good at that. And I'm not very good at catching a freaking bar in a really vertical position. That's another thing that I struggle with. I'm just a deadlift everyday guy caught in the body of a squat everyday guy, basically. Anyway, guys, appreciate all of you guys. Obviously, the comments are, popping up every day. I'm all over those comments as much as I can to learn from you guys, especially after yesterday's video, talking about the whole, weightlifting aspect to it, learning a whole bunch of stuff from you guys. So I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone on the Patreon list, and also Instagram. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.